Chapter 5. Whispers in the dark. The moon hung low over the Jack's homestead, casting a pale glow across the fields and barricades. Jimmy Jacks crouched in the bunker's main chamber, his crossbow resting on his knees, the weight of the day pressing on his shoulders. At 30, he'd hunted, farmed, and fought, but leading his family through the chaos of the EMP was a beast he hadn't tamed. Carter's gang had come and gone, bloody but not broken, and that scream from the woods, a woman's cry, raw and desperate, gnawed at him like a splinter under his skin. The bunker's fluorescent lights, powered by the stream's hydropower turbine, buzzed faintly. Shelves of canned food, water barrels, and medical supplies lined the concrete walls, a testament to Grandpa's decades of prepping. Grandma Jack sat at a steel table, cleaning her 9mm pistol, her nurse's hand steady despite the tension. Jenny was beside her, sorting herbs from her satchel, yarrow, chamomile, calendula, her botanist focus a quiet anchor. Grandpa stood by the armory rack, loading a magazine for his .308 rifle, his journal open to a page marked defense protocols. "We can't ignore that scream," Jenny said, breaking the silence. Her green eyes flicked to Jimmy, pleading but firm. "Someone's out there, hurt or worse. We have to check." Grandpa snorted, not looking up. "It's a trap. Carter's baiting us, pulling us out so they can hit the homestead. You go chasing ghosts, you leave us exposed." Jimmy's jaw tightened. He'd seen the gang's ruthlessness in Chillicothe, the woman they dragged into that alley. Grandpa was right. Carter was cunning, and the homestead was their lifeline. But Jenny's words echoed his own guilt. If they did nothing, what were they fighting for? Grandma set her pistol down, her silver hair catching the light. "We're not heartless," she said, her voice calm but edged. "But we're not reckless either. If we go, it's smart, small team, in and out. No risks to the homestead." Jimmy met her gaze, seeing the nurse who'd saved lives under fire. She was giving him room to decide, testing him. He glanced at Jenny, her hands paused over her herbs, waiting. At Grandpa, whose scowl said he'd follow but wouldn't like it. The choice was his, and it felt like a noose. "We check it," Jimmy said finally, his voice steadier than he felt. "Me and Jenny. Quick recon to the woods where we heard the scream. Grandpa, Grandma, you hold the homestead. 2 hours, max. If we're not back, lock the bunker and don't come looking." Grandpa's eyes narrowed. "Fool's errand, boy. But if you're set, take the east trail. Stay off the road. Carter's likely watching it." Jenny nodded, packing her satchel with medical supplies and a flashlight. "I'll bring my knife and some remedies. If someone's hurt, I can stabilize them." Grandma stood, handing Jimmy a walkie-talkie, one of the few shielded in a Faraday cage, still functional. "Channel 3, low power. Check in every 15 minutes. If you miss a call, we assume trouble." Jimmy clipped the walkie to his belt, his crossbow already slung across his back. "Got it. Let's move, Jen." They climbed the bunker's stairs, the steel hatch closing behind them with a heavy thud. The night air was cool, the homestead's field silver under the moon. Barricades of logs and metal gleamed along the perimeter, and Grandpa's traps, snares, pits, tripwires lurked in the shadows. The stream's turbine hummed faintly, a reminder of their fragile lifeline. Jimmy scanned the horizon, the glow of Chillicothe's fires dimmer now but still ominous. Jenny fell in beside him, her knife at her hip, her steps silent on the grass. "Thanks for this," she said, her voice low. "I know it's a risk." "It's the right call," Jimmy said, though doubt gnawed at him. "But stay close. If it's Carter, we're not fighting, we're running." They took the east trail, a narrow path through the woods that skirted the road. The forest was alive with night sounds, crickets, and owls' hoot, but every snap of a twig set Jimmy's nerves on edge. His crossbow was ready, a bolt loaded, his hunter's instincts sharp. Jenny moved like a shadow, her knowledge of the land guiding them around roots and brambles. 10 minutes in, they reached the spot where the scream had come from, a clearing near the homestead's boundary, close to where Carter's truck had retreated. The ground was churned, littered with boot prints and tire tracks. Jimmy crouched, examining the dirt. "Fresh," he whispered. "They were here maybe an hour ago." Jenny's flashlight beam swept the clearing, pausing on a patch of crushed ferns. "Blood," she said, her voice tight. She knelt, touching the dark stain, then pointed to drag marks leading deeper into the woods. Someone was pulled this way. Jimmy's stomach twisted. The scream replayed in his mind, sharp and human. He clicked the walkie. "Grandma, it's Jimmy. Found blood and tracks in the east clearing. We're following, but staying low. Over." Grandma's voice crackled back. "Copy. Be quick, Jimmy. Grandpa's got eyes on the road. Nothing yet. Over." They followed the drag marks, the trail weaving through pines and underbrush. Jenny's flashlight was off now, the moonlight enough to guide them. Jimmy's senses were on high alert, every shadow a potential threat. The tracks led to a small ravine, where the air grew thick with the stench of sweat and fear. Jenny froze, grabbing his arm. "There," she whispered, pointing to a bundle in the ravine shadow. It was a body, slumped against a tree, hands bound with rope. Jimmy signaled her to stay back, his crossbow raised as he approached. The figure was a woman young, her clothes torn and face bruised. Her chest rose faintly. She was alive, but barely. Blood soaked her shirt, a gash on her arm oozing. Jimmy knelt, checking her pulse. Weak but steady. "Jen, she needs you," he called softly. Jenny hurried over, her satchel open. She worked fast, cleaning the gash with water and applying Yarrow to slow the bleeding. "She's in shock," Jenny said, her voice low. "We need to get her to the bunker, but moving her's risky." Jimmy scanned the ravine, his crossbow still up, the rope, the bruises. It screamed Carter's gang. This was no accident, he said. They left her here, maybe as bait. The woman stirred, her eyes fluttering open. "Please," she rasped, her voice barely audible. "They took others. Girls. In the city. Warehouses." Jimmy's blood ran cold. Trafficking. The woman in Chillicothe. The screams. It was all connected. "Who's they?" he asked. "Carter?" She nodded weakly, then pointed to a scrap of cloth caught on a branch. A bandana, red with a crude skull stitched on it. "They're Mark," she whispered, before her eyes closed again. Jenny looked at Jimmy, her face pale. "We can't leave her, but we can't carry her and fight if they come back." Jimmy's mind raced. The homestead was a mile away, and Carter's gang could be close. The bandana was a clue, proof of an organized threat, but also meant they were being watched. He clicked the walkie. "Grandma, we found a survivor woman. Hurt bad. Says Carter's trafficking people. Got a bandana with their mark. We're bringing her back, but we need cover. Over." Grandma's reply was instant. "Copy. Grandpa's heading to the east fence with the rifle. Move fast. Over." Jenny bound the woman's wounds, improvising a sling from her jacket. Jimmy lifted the woman, her weight light but awkward, and slung her over his shoulder. "Stay behind me," he told Jenny. "Eyes open." They retraced their steps, the forest now a maze of threats. Every rustle felt like Carter's men closing in. Jenny clutched a bandana, her knife ready, her flashlight tucked away to avoid detection. The woman moaned softly, a reminder of the stakes. Halfway back, a twig snapped to their left. Jimmy froze, lowering the woman behind a tree. He signaled Jenny to crouch, his crossbow aimed at the shadows. Footsteps, deliberate, not animal, approached. A figure emerged, a man with a red bandana tied to his arm, a machete in hand. One of Carter's. Jimmy didn't hesitate. He fired, the bolt striking the man's chest. The scout collapsed, his machete clattering. Jenny stifled a gasp, but Jimmy was already moving, reloading. "They know we're here," he whispered. "Run." They sprinted, Jimmy carrying the woman, Jenny at his heels. The homestead's lights, candlelit, faint, came into view. Grandpa's rifle cracked from the fence, a warning shot to clear their path. They reached the barricade, Grandma waiting with her pistol drawn. "Inside now," Grandma ordered, helping Jimmy with the woman. They ducked into the bunker, the hatch slamming shut. Jenny set to work, stabilizing the woman on a cot. Grandma checked her vitals, her nurse's skills seamless. Grandpa stormed in, rifle in hand. "That shot'll keep him back tonight," he said. "But they're circling. What did you find?" Jimmy held up the bandana. "The skull stark under the lights. Carter's gang. They're trafficking people. Holding girls in Chillicothe's warehouses. This woman's proof." Grandpa's eyes darkened. "Then we're not just fighting for the homestead. We're fighting a war." As Jenny worked to save the woman, Jimmy gripped his crossbow, the bandana's weight heavier than steel. Carter was out there, and the screams in the dark were only the beginning.